Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a fun one because I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to get on PR lists.
I think I started something.
I recently started growing on social media in the past couple of months, and I've definitely gotten a lot of free stuff. Like if you guys watch my vlogs, you guys know I'm still in awe of how much free stuff you can get with just this amount of followers. And I will say, while most brands reach out to me now that I do have more followers on social media, a lot of what I did before I even started growing on social media has contributed to why I have so many PR packages coming in right now. So in this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you guys everything that you can do, no matter how many followers you have, to get noticed by brands, develop relationships with brands, and to get on your dream PR list. So the first thing that's really important when you want to get noticed by brands is something that I kind of already touched on in my last video on how to grow on Instagram, and that is investing in the brands that you are interested in. So I told you guys in that video about how I invested in a lot of brands that I normally wouldn't buy just because they are a little bit above my price range, but they are brands that I know I want to work with. They're brands that I love. If I had like an unlimited wallet, I'd be spending my money on those brands, right? But I knew for me, because I want to do social media full time, because I want to work with these brands, I would have to invest some money up front before these brands would notice me, to show brands that I can make good content in their clothes and that I was also interested in their brand, right? So what I really suggest you guys do, come up with a list of like your dream brands. And I definitely will say, just focus in on a few brands that you really want to pay attention to, because obviously most of us probably have a limited budget. So there's really only so many brands that you can invest into, right? Be intentional about who you're investing in and what brands you want to work with. So you guys know, like I shared in my last video, the only time that I ever ordered from Jaded London, I bought 2 outfits from them and I spent around $150, right? So what I did, and what I really suggest you guys do, is when you get products from brands, really try to use those products in as much content as possible. So what I did when I received a lot of the clothes that I received is I of course posted some Instagram pictures in them, but I also created TikTok content. I created YouTube hauls. I just posted as much content as I could to get noticed by these brands. So this is why it's really important to cross promote yourself and to post content on different platforms, but especially when you're trying to get on PR lists and you're trying to get noticed by brands, you want to be on as many platforms as you can, because you never know when a brand's influencer manager might find you. So when I was posting my Jaded London pictures on Instagram, I maybe had like 2,000 followers, and that's totally fine. But because I was cross promoting it and because I was tagging them on my TikTok, that's the reason why they noticed me. So this kind of leads me into my next tip, which is to make sure that you're tagging brands when you're posting them. This is kind of obvious, but a lot of people will not do this because they feel like, well, if I'm tagging a brand, then I'm giving them free promotion. And what I really want from them is for them to pay me or send me free products in exchange for promotion. And I totally understand that. But the honest truth is, if you have like 1,000 followers on Instagram, or if you don't have a big following, chances are brands are not lining up to send you free stuff, right? So what you really want to do while you're focused on growing your social media following is post content to show brands that you're capable of making quality content. Even if you don't have a lot of followers, but they really like the quality of your content, they might be willing to send you some free stuff, but they have to be able to find you first, right? So you really want to make sure that no matter where you're posting these brands, you're tagging them as much as possible. If you're posting a YouTube video with their products being featured, if you're doing a haul especially, you definitely want to make sure that you're including that brand in the title, in the thumbnail, because again, you never know where these brands might find you, and you want to make it as easy for them to find you as possible. And even like little things, like when people are commenting on your post and asking you where you got certain stuff from, when you're responding to comments, make sure that you're tagging the brand and not just saying their name, because again, that brand might just find you from that comment. Like, you just never know. My next tip for getting on PR lists is to use TikTok. And I said this before in my last video on how to grow on Instagram, but I'm gonna say it again in this one, just because again, TikTok is the new up and coming app that everyone is on, and that brands especially are on and are finding people on, right? So for me, most brands that have reached out to me and have asked to send me some PR packages have found me through TikTok. Instagram is great, YouTube is great as well, but 9 times out of 10, these brands are not discovering people on these apps. Instagram especially is not built for discovery, especially if you don't have a lot of followers. So using TikTok TikTok can help you a lot, because even if you have like 3 followers on TikTok, you're way more likely to get noticed by a brand, and you're also more likely to grow on the app than if you were to just be posting on Instagram and tagging brands on Instagram, right? So when I started posting on TikTok, that's when things really started to pop off for me, and that's when a lot of brands noticed me personally and started reaching out to me. And this kind of leads into one of my last tips, which is to make sure, of course, you are being consistent and focusing on the quality of your content. And I know I've said this before, but I saw a lot of comments on my last video with people saying, well, I want to get free stuff from brands, but I know I need to start posting more. I don't really post that often. And it's like, you cannot expect brands to want to work with you if they don't know what to expect from you, right? So before you even worry about getting free stuff from brands, have a posting schedule, figure out your groove, figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you, figure out the best way that you can shoot your own content, and just do your best when you are investing in these brands to make sure that the content is high quality. And one thing that can really help with this is looking at the brand's social media, because it can really give you some ideas of the kind of content that they like and that they're looking for to promote their brand. And it can really help you understand what quality of content you need to be aiming for in order to get noticed by these brands, right? So yeah, once you kind of start doing all those things, you guys, I promise you, not only are brands going to notice you, but you're also going to start growing on social media. And I will say, in complete honesty, you guys, you're more likely to get on PR lists once you start growing on social media. That's just the name of the game. Brands like to see numbers, and they like to see that they're getting a return on their investment. So I really suggest you guys focus first on your social media growth. Like for me, I've been on YouTube for like 2 years now. I've been posting on Instagram for a while now, and I've definitely had a few brands reach out to me like here and there for some gifted collaborations, but it really was not until I started growing on TikTok and then on Instagram and now on YouTube that brands are now reaching out to me every single day to send me free stuff. So again, the things that you are doing now to lay the foundation of growing a social media platform is really what's going to help you at the end of the day get on PR lists. But that being said, I will say you do not need to be afraid to reach out to brands yourself if you're really interested in working with them. I personally did not start reaching out to brands myself until I had around like 7,000 to 8,000 followers on Instagram. But I've honestly seen so many success stories with people who have 2,000 or 3,000 followers who have gotten free products from brands after they have reached out to them themselves. So I definitely suggest just take a risk, reach out to the brands that you are interested in. So for me personally, I wouldn't reach out to any brands that have like over 1 million followers, just because they're not going to be as likely to see your DM. And also, if they're like a brand that you're dreaming of working with, I would personally just wait for them to notice you, or wait for your platform to get big enough that you can more realistically have a chance of working with them. Like for me, you guys know, one of my dream brands to get PR from is IMGia. I just love them. But for me, I just honestly wouldn't DM them, just because I'd rather them find me, or I'd rather wait until my platform is just a little bit bigger before I reach out to them myself. But that's just me. I definitely say just be bold and reach out to whoever you feel like you are comfortable reaching out to. I've definitely had a lot of brands who have not responded to me, and that's totally okay. But I have had a few brands who have responded back and who have been down, and I'll show you guys an example of the message. I use the same message every single time when I DM brands for the most part. Like I literally will copy and paste it. When I forgot to say, I think DMing brands on Instagram is the best way to reach out to them, just because they usually have someone running the account who's in charge of PR or gifted collaborations, and they're typically going through Instagram. The most important thing when you are DMing brands is to make sure to let them know that you're willing to post content in exchange for the items, and you also want to include the platforms that you are performing the best on. So for me, because I know most brands want to see TikTok content from me because that's my biggest platform, I will make sure to include my TikTok in my DMs because I want them to go see it and not just see my Instagram and think that that's all I can offer for them, because I can offer them a lot more with my TikTok, right? So yeah, just don't be afraid to reach out to brands, because honestly, the worst thing that can happen is they just say no or they just don't see it. And chances are, if you're doing the work and you start growing on social media, the brand eventually is going to notice you, and they will see that you're interested in working with them, and they might eventually get back to you once you do, again, start growing. The last thing I'm going to kind of cover really quickly is once you start getting free stuff from brands, the things that you really want to keep in mind, just because you of course want to keep a good relationship with these brands if you want to continue working with them and if you want to continue getting free stuff from them. The first thing I'll say that's really important is to make sure that when you receive products from brands that you're posting as quickly as you can. Personally, when I receive PR, I try to post the products within a week of receiving them. Obviously, if you're getting a lot of PR packages, that can be very hard. Like if you guys watched my last vlog, you guys know I was a little bit overwhelmed with all the content that I had to post for brands for PR. But that's also something else to keep in mind, is that you don't want to just say yes to every brand that offers you free products, because I will say, once you start growing on social media, there will be brands DMing you or emailing you every single day offering you free stuff. But I will say is you really don't want to put too much on your plate. And when you start getting to a point when you are getting a lot of free stuff, that's when you can really consider charging brands like actual fees for posting their stuff. You really want to keep in mind what brands you want to work with. You also want to keep in mind what your niche is. So I will have, for me, a lot of brands reach out to me who have nothing to do with my niche. Like I will have fucking some like tech brands reach out to me to like post their like software in exchange for like a free year-long trial. And I'm just like, I don't know if you see my content, but like, where do you think I would post that, and where do you think my audience would take value from that? So like really consider that. Like even though you're getting offered stuff and sometimes stuff might seem cool, you really want to keep in mind, again, what is your niche and what are things that are going to make sense to your audience. Because if you're posting random stuff every single day, people will start to get confused and people will not understand what you're trying to do. And it will also be obvious that you're posting things because you're working with brands, and then you kind of lose trust from your audience, right? So just keep that in mind. And then my last tip for working with brands and developing a relationship with them is to not be afraid to ask to work with them again. I keep using Jade London as an example, but Jade London reached out to me first and they sent me some free stuff. And then I saw that they were dropping a new collection, and I was absolutely in love with the stuff that they were dropping. So I was kind of nervous. So I was like, I really want to try out this stuff, but I want to get it for free because I know I'm going to post the content. So I went ahead and just DM them and asked them if I could get some more products from them, and they said yes. So I definitely will say, if you like the brand, if you want to continue working with them, and if it seems like you guys have a good relationship from the first time that you worked with them, like if they have reposted your content and if you guys have stayed in touch, then I definitely recommend just reaching out to the brand again and asking to work with them a second time, or just asking to get regular gifts from them, because a lot of times brands will do that as well. So yeah, that is it, you guys, for all of my tips on getting on PR lists. Again, I definitely suggest you guys first focus on growing on social media, but when you're really thinking about what content you could be posting when you're trying to grow on social media, you really want to think about what brands you want to work with and how you can invest in those brands and get their attention. So hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any questions or if you guys want to see any other videos from me. And of course, make sure you guys are subscribed to my channel if you guys aren't already. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
I blame it on a model bra with a Hollywood smile.